want to show y'all what's happening with my Hemlock and Oak horizontal planner. If you saw, I posted this a couple places online this week. Anyway, so let me walk you through what I'm doing with this planner, because it's not going to be a catch-all as I originally thought its purpose would be. So here are some of the initial pages. I went through and did some of the goal setting, self-reflection pages, and I don't mind if you read them. If you pause and read some of the pages, it doesn't bother me at all. First, you identify your personal values. I really love these pages and it really helped me. Second thing is you identify which of these values stand out the most to you. I did like 1 dot if I'm like, ooh, but I did 4 dots if I really identify it with it. And then over here, I looked at the dots again and I was like, okay, when it said, what are the common themes? I wrote the common themes and then I'm like, hey, those should be my top 5 values. So then I just wrote those down and I wrote why. I want to talk to you a little bit about peace. This is going to be my word of the year. I value being at peace with God, myself, my tribe, and all my goals in life every year lead back to wanting a peaceful existence. So if you think about it, if you're honest with yourself and those around you, that leads to peace, because you're not feeling guilty about not telling the truth, or you're not feeling a struggle with yourself or not being honest with yourself about something. Diversity is so important in this world. I truly believe that when people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different classes in society, just people that think differently in general, come together in a unified decision, then you can trust it more, because people that have a different perspective are coming to the same conclusion. That's one reason why I value diversity so much. I'm not sure if I've ever explained that on this channel or to any of you as personal friends. You may think it's odd, like, why does this white chick value diversity so much? But that's why. I feel like different perspectives that come to the same conclusion, it's a very valuable force in this world, and we should always seek diverse perspectives if we are unclear about a decision, because that will really help. Joy, it's not being happy every day, guys. It's just an inner peace, that feeling that you get, that you just, it ties into peace, right? Like, you're just feeling joy. And then health. Without health, and I am referring to both mental and physical health, any peace is really hard, because you can't sometimes use your body the way that you want, or in your mind might not be functioning the way that it should, in order to lead you to be able to be your best self and go towards your goals. So these are the values that I'm going to be focusing on this year, and my word of the year is peace. So in the first 2 pages here, I went ahead and wrote 3 goals that I'm going to be focusing on this year, and I went ahead and carved out 1 of them. But it also has a place to write habits, so I'm not sure how I'm going to use these pages quite yet. I really love this page. So it's a daily framework. It says, how do you want to start each day? I guess what we're really getting into in this video, more so than the weekly setup, which is going to be at the end, is some research that I've been doing for why do I have similar goals each year, and at the end of the year I'm no better off, really. I start off strong, but at the end of the year I still come to the same goals that I need for the next year. And why is it a perpetual Groundhog Day? Do you guys feel like that? So I was doing some research into that, and you know the YouTube channel that I've mentioned to y'all that I watch, with the 4 white dudes that are like about body language? I already forgot the name of the channel. It's so terrible because I watch it all the time. Anyway, it's a body language channel. One of the gentlemen, Chase, he had done some interviews and then also videos on his own personal YouTube about goal setting and why it doesn't work. And so I want to share with you the tips, and I'm going to write them down here. And the first one was, man, let me pause the video because this is really important to what I want to get across and do with my journal this year. Okay, y'all, I went back to the video, which I will share in my community tab here on YouTube, so you can watch it. It's just a short little 13-minute video. And then I will also share the full interview from a different YouTube channel called, man, it's something about CEO. It's a podcast where he was interviewed. I'll share both those videos in my community channel. Okay, but in a nutshell, this is what Chase Hughes, who is the expert, said about goal setting. Number one, goal setting does not work. Goals are a byproduct of your habits. If you've read like Atomic Habits or anything else, it's a similar theory, and it does have proven science behind it. A very important aspect that he mentioned is people look at those who have created and cultivated habits as very disciplined people. But the discipline part is only in the first 90 days or so, which is why I'm going to do the 75 Soft to help me create these new habits. After you get past the discipline part, your body quickly forms new habits and routines because we are creatures of habit, quite literally, as humans. And so the first step that we have to do is create a vision of our new self and create ways that those, this is the ways that I feel he was describing that habits will stick and create the vision. The second part is how to just start and make sure that your routine is disrupted enough so you don't fall back into the old habits. So although he calls this part 1 and part 2, I kind of see it backward, what he's saying. I see that first I have to focus on creating the new habits, and then I can use the second part to keep them going. Although you do have to do the first part while you're creating which habits you're gonna do for the year. So first, let's talk about vision boards. I think I'm just not even gonna do a plan with me in this video, guys. This is just way too important. And I don't think any like goal planners are going to show you these methods, but you can use a goal setting planner to help you carry them out like I'm doing here. So these are psychological proven tips that are used in the second part in mind washing techniques that the government uses sometimes. Brainwashing techniques, advertising firms use, a lot of people use, and it does work, and you can use it on yourself to cultivate new habits. First, you need to create your vision. I always kind of thought vision boards, honestly, I could take it or leave it. It's like, washy, you know, I don't know, like kind of California, hippie dippy. I mean, and I'm kind of hippie, so, but I never thought it really like does much. He did say, create vision boards with photos only, not words. Treat yourself like a dog or an animal. If you have to put your goals down in photos only, do that and put it everywhere and make sure you see it every day, not just in the beginning of the year, not just after your habits have developed, but every day. And what he stresses is this is not a way to, you know, the hippy dippy part, like manifesting things in the universe. It's a way to focus. So if you notice, both of these acronyms start with focus. You have to focus on those goals, not goals, but the habits. I'm so used to saying goals. He says don't set them. So although I did set them, those are the byproducts that I want. So what I've done for now is I took a photo of me at one of my healthiest times where I felt very energetic, fit, and I was in a great healthy routine, and I put it as a screensaver on my phone. Every time I open my phone, I see it. I'm gonna do a similar thing on my work computer. I'm gonna create a vision board on Canva in photos, and I'm gonna keep that as my work computer screensaver so that every single time I look at that, it's there. And I'm also gonna print it, put it in my planner in my daily where I see it every single day. Because he says that does do something to you subconsciously, because on an animal level, you're looking at every day what you want, and it keeps you going in those habits to get what you want. Okay, so first of all, you do need to create a vision board. So we're gonna make some to-dos. This page is not gonna be cute and pretty. We're just going to give ourselves some things that we need to do. We need to create a vision board, visual, photo, vision board. Okay, make sure it's visual, guys, because your animal self, he says, photos are processed in a different part of the brain than words. This is why he says typical goal setting doesn't work very well, because we're trying to convince ourselves with words and logic, and the animal habit forming part of ourself does not understand that. There's a disconnect, and this is how we can kind of rewire the brain to make those connections. And secondly, I need to post it everywhere. I'm gonna also make one to put in my car. Okay, so in a way, this is kind of what a lot of people already do. It's just a different science behind it. The reason it's working is it's keeping your focus, not because you're manifesting things in the universe. So there you go. Okay, the second thing is authority. What he talks about here is having accountability to these habits. So having people in your life aware of your goals and holding you to it. So, and that also falls into the tribe. So I'm going to use the tools that I've used before, which are a lot of the fitness Facebook groups that I'm in. The main one that I love is called Mind, Body, and Soul. I'll put a link to it in the comments of this video. I love the ladies in that group, because we're all very like-minded women of God who also want to take care of our health and our fitness. Most of us have been in this group for years and seen a lot of ups and downs and transformations with each other. And I feel it's a really good group for accountability and positivity. So I am going to use that group. I'm also going to, as far as the focus, I'm going to continuously do before and after photos every 2 weeks. So let me write that down. Okay, and then the last thing is emotion. He describes that you need to tie your habits and the byproduct, which is the goals that will be reached by creating these new habits, to an emotion. And for me, it is, and he says your brain needs a contrast. So what I like is that he said is that this planner, it actually does kind of follow what he said. Like over here, identify 5 negative beliefs and then reframe them into positive statements. I feel like this is very helpful to what Chase said of this part. He says your brain needs a contrast. So you do need to understand what will happen if you continue on the path that you're currently on, and what the negative results or byproducts will be, and how you'll feel at that time, and tie it to emotion and really think about that, and even write it out in like a journaling exercise. And then the second thing is, how will you feel emotionally if you take your new track of habits? And so I need to do some journaling exercises surrounding that. So I'm going to make my next bullet points be that. He calls the first track the nightmare. Like, if you just don't do any healthy habits, what's the worst case scenario? And then if you follow your new track, journal about the dream life that you're trying to create. Okay, so that's fate, focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. Once you have your vision of where you want to go, this is where I would say there's some holes in what he said. I think you do need to identify some habits, some healthy habits that are going to lead you to the dream, because how are you going to do these new habits if you haven't identified what they need to be? So I do think something like Hemlock and Oak really follows what he's saying, because he's saying don't, on the one hand, don't have too many goals, but also the new life that you're leading should lead to these naturally occurring good byproducts. And so next, we're going to talk about this daily framework and how it aligns with what he says about creating new habits. The first thing he says is focus. So once you create that photo vision board, you need to continuously have a focus on your habits, not your goal. Focus on habits, not your goal. So this one is more like focusing on the vision, and this one is focusing on your habits. I think I'm also going to read the book Atomic Habits in January to help get me kick-started on this, because I want to see how much crossover there is. For me, the way to focus on my habits is to make space for them in my schedule. Which is what I've done here. So where I usually don't wake up until about 8 and then take my kid to school, I'm going to wake up at 7 and do at least 3,000 steps before the day even gets started. So I'm already starting with a focus on new habits. Okay, emotion. That's the same thing that he talks about here, except he's saying, I need to look back and see what he says on this part about the emotion. I don't really remember that. I'm going to just leave some space by emotion. I remember what he said about agitate. Agitate means make changes so that you don't easily fall back into the old habits. So an example that he gave is disrupt your environment, because as I said before, this second part, the acronym FEAR, stands for mind washing techniques that the government and other people, such as advertisers, use all the time, and you can use it on yourself. So agitate means disrupting your environment just enough so that you won't fall back into the old habits. He gave some examples of changing what you're wearing. So like for myself, I usually just wake up, throw on a sweatshirt, and take my kid to school. But instead, I'm going to wake up and put on actual clothes and do my walk. So that's part of the agitation. I'm disrupting my schedule, and I'm disrupting what my routine and also my clothing. Like, I'm just changing things up. Another thing he said is some people move around their furniture. That's something I naturally do. I find that I get very complacent and unproductive if I do not change around my environment at least every 6 months. So I tend to do that. I've also heard proven studies in the business world when I went to business school about lighting. Many offices change your desk. You might be like, why are they making us change our desk again? This doesn't make sense. They're never going to tell you the why, but there are proven studies that if you make your employees change their desk, it disrupts their environment, leading to better productivity. And also the lighting in the new area will be different from what they've had before. It's not about better or worse lighting. It's about different lighting. So you may notice at one time of day, you're more productive than another, and it might be just a change in the lighting. So try these techniques on yourself. Change your lighting at your desk. Change up your schedule. If you usually, I usually take my bath around 5. I'm going to now take it around 8. My new schedule and disrupted routine is going to lead toward the goals that I want as the byproducts. So agitate is disrupting your environment. And I'm going to give you another example, but kind of in the opposite that I do to Jedi mind trick myself, that has worked for me many times whenever I go on a weight loss journey. The part that I have trouble with is the sticking to it, which I'm hoping this method will help with. So change environment. So I've already changed around my entire living room. I changed my bedding in my bedroom so that it's different colors. And I'm also going to put my alarm across the room in the bathroom so that I cannot turn it off. I have to actually get up and turn it off. Why does that work? It's already something different where you can't fall back in the old path. You can't just reach over and turn it off and change it to a different time. You have to get up. By the time you already got up, your mind is going to go toward the new pattern. My dresser is in my bathroom. So if I go in there and if I have my clothes set out for me by the phone, if I do it enough times, I'm naturally going to just wake up and start getting dressed and doing my new routine. So don't just think these things happen by accident and people just have, discipline and, they just started doing all these new things. No, you really have to work at it at first, and then your body is going to, being a creature of habit, take over after a while. And you're going to notice that you're doing a lot of these things naturally. So that's where the repetition comes in. Just fake it till you make it. Whenever he was talking about this part, that's immediately what I thought. He said, all the people that they go to the gym day in, day out, you think you're looking at discipline, but really you're looking at repetition. They have done it enough that it's just their pattern. It's just their schedule. So when you ask them, well, how do you get all this discipline? That's why they don't know what to tell you, because it's not discipline anymore. The discipline came at the beginning for them, just like it will for you. And eventually it's just going to be your habit and your lifestyle. So if this works. So I am so ready to Jedi mind trick myself. I need to remember what the heck he was talking about emotion, because I don't remember. Let me pause the video and look back one more time. Okay, so I went back and watched the video again. I was right about the focus. He says, make it basically impossible to fail. Have everything set up in such a way that you can't not focus on the new habit. I'm going to give you some more examples of that in a minute, besides the alarm clock, which has worked for me before. Emotion. He says, make sure you're so emotionally tied to these new habits that you can't not do it. So I'm really thinking about that. What does that mean for me and my goals? I think that I really need to do some more journaling about how I feel at the end of every year when I feel like it's Groundhog's Day. I have a lot of negative emotions during this, although I try to phrase it positively and say, okay, let's try again. Let's start over, because that takes a lot of strength. And if you are in that place, I really admire that you're trying again. But we don't want to be Groundhog Day anymore. Let's do some journaling.
Let's go journaling.
You know what? When I crush these goals and I'm looking very beautiful with lots of extra money for us, you are going to love it. So you better not make fun of me. Oh, he would never. Okay. I'm gonna send him these videos. Okay, anyway. I'm a journal about how I feel every time when I have to start over. I hate starting over, because I know if I had continued what I started in the first place, I would be so much further along. I get so irritated with myself. That's the emotion that's tied to this for me. I need to find a way to have the positive emotion. So I'm going to also journal about how I feel after I've had a really good run. I'm going to start jogging again outside.
bad this morning. A little warm.
I'm gonna start jogging again, baby. Outside.
That's good.
It's very good for mental and physical health.
Yeah, I did.
Aligns with my goals.
I did 2.5 today, I think. 2.5.
Give me 5.
2.5. And a cold shower afterwards. I didn't like it.
Why'd you do it?
It's supposed to be good.
Because it's supposed to be good for you. Okay. So guys, you can see I have a sort of plan, but you're probably thinking about your life like, what the heck does that mean? So I'm going to give you some more examples, okay? Let's write them down in the back here for when we have our moments where we want to go back to doing the old thing, because the old thing is easier. Ooh, I wrote with a Sharpie right here, and this is the only thing that has ever bled through on this paper. I will not do that again. Yikes. Okay. At first I thought it was a black dot marker, and I was like, it's never done that before, but it wasn't. Okay, so we're gonna write down a few examples on this page of, he calls it being a butler for yourself, okay? Basically, he talks about this. Oh, it's a diary of a CEO. That's the podcast, the second video. Pardon my hubby while he gets a bunch of ice during the video. But he looks very handsome today. Yes, the dog. You. Yes, the dog looks so handsome today, guys. That's what I was telling you. Oh, let me get some washi tape. Okay, so let's, and my kids are acting a fool upstairs, so, because it's raining, and usually they're all out of the house right now. Okay. We're gonna call this page The Butler. The Butler. I'm gonna get some alphabets. We're gonna put a bunch of examples on this page of what it means to be the butler of your own life, okay? Set your clothes out the day before. If you have a goal to, if you're a stay-at-home mom or a work-at-home mom like me, and a lot of times you just stay in your pajamas, it's actually really bad for your mental health. And it could be detrimental to your goals. You're not going to want to go outside. Like, one of my goals is going outside. I'm not going to want to go outside in my pajamas. So I need to fix it. Let's use my Twisby. Let's be a fancy butler of our own life. Some things that we can do. Meal prep. Because we don't have a butler. We have to be our own butler. So we have to set ourselves up for success if this is going to work, guys. It's not going to just fall in our laps. The beginning. This is the discipline part. Okay, set out clothes. I don't like to meal prep, so what I do is, what that always works for me, is I use the MyFitnessPal or the Weight Watchers app. I plan my meals on that app the day before. So, if you don't fully meal prep, you could just plan your meals ahead, whether it's on an app, which I prefer because it shows me that I'm on track with my calories, with my macros, you know, all of that, until it becomes a habit to eat those foods, and then I don't have to track anymore. See where we're going? This is why Chase's method makes sense to me, because I've used it in the past. But the problem I think with me is I only do these parts for like a month, and then I feel like I'm in a groove, so then I stop being the butler and I try to just wing it and I go off track. So I need to be the butler for 90 days at least, and maybe forever. Because if being my own butler is going to keep me successful, I could do it forever. The goal and the byproduct of this new lifestyle is worth it to me. Am I going to have less time to doom scroll? Yeah, also a good thing. Okay, so another example is use your own bad habits against yourself, okay? So here's another strategy. In my fridge, I always keep Dr. Peppers on the top shelf. Whenever I go to the fridge and I'm thirsty or hungry, what is right in front of my face? Dr. Pepper. So what am I gonna do instead? I'm going to move the Dr. Peppers down because my hubby's still gonna drink them. I'm gonna hide them behind milk and stuff that I don't use very often. And on the top shelf, I'm gonna put a bunch of bottles of water. Now, do I need bottles of water? Can I just drink from my Stanley cup? Yes, but if I'm gonna open the fridge anyway, because that's my bad habit, I need to replace it with a good habit. So I'm gonna have LaCroix and bottles of water on the top shelf. So wherever you go to get that snack or that drink that you know is detrimental to your health goals, put something healthy in its place because your mind already wants to reach and grab that. That's going to help you create that new habit faster. So like physically, don't just, buy celery instead of cookies. Buy something instead of cookies that you can keep in the pantry where the cookies used to be, so that when you go and it's midnight and you're going to get a cookie, you can grab whatever is there where the cookies used to be, like a rice cake. And if you wake up at midnight and you have that bad habit, and you'll probably see the rice cake and just turn around and go to bed. Or you might grab the rice cake and eat it, but it's not going to be a cookie. It's not going to be that detrimental to you. Physically replace snacks with healthy options in the same location. Okay? Another thing that I do, every day I put caramel sauce in my coffee. Yep, Ghirardelli caramel. What do I do when I'm doing this method that has worked for me before? I buy Simply 5. It is a healthier version of Hershey's syrup, and I use that instead. I don't like it as much, so I don't put as much in my coffee, but it has way less calories. It still sweetens up my coffee, and it helps me to break that bad habit more slowly. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, try to think of some examples in your life where you can agitate, so change your physical environment enough, but you already know you're gonna have a bad habit, in my example, to snooze the alarm. So I'm gonna move the alarm, so that's not possible. That sets me up for success. Oh, I did not even write that down. Move alarm to bathroom. Okay, I'm gonna get the Couch to 5K app because it's just really easy to follow. It's something that has helped me stay active in the past that I don't dread and hate. And it's just really fast. It's really fast results. So I'm just gonna do it. And then same thing with my MyFitnessPal. The last thing that I'm using this planner for, besides my weekly plan, is going to be for my 75 soft. So I'm going to start this on January 1st. Here are my rules. I kind of made my own rules based on my habits that I plan. So eating pretty clean, having one cheat day a week. I may not have a cheat day for the first 30 days or so, just to get myself in that really good habit. I might just do a cheat meal during this time instead of a whole cheat day. And then 5 to 10,000 steps a day, 3 workouts a week. So these are basically the habits that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to keep track of them here. At the end of each row, if I have completed every day, I'll give myself a treat. Fancy coffee, basically. I get a fancy coffee once a week if I stick to this all week, and I don't have to make it like, non-fat and no sugar and all that. I could just get whatever I want. Okay. I don't know how long this video is, but let's make an actual spread. Oh. I'm gonna fast forward you guys, and I'm gonna fill this out real quick. Okay, y'all. So this is going to be my big habit tracker, and on my app it's going to be my projected meal, and then here I'm going to write the actuals. The more that I actually do what I say I'm going to do, the better I feel about myself, and the more I want to keep doing it. That's just human nature. So now, a lot of people ask me what I'm going to do with this right side of the page, and what I am going to do over here is, first of all, some deco. Let's cuten her up. So the reason why I wanted to do that is because I kind of want to make it look like a little cute Polaroid thing going on. I'm going to color it in. So if you hate progress pics, even more reason to do it. Oh my gosh, how cute is this? It's also makes for a cute layout. And at the end of the year, if you stick to this, this is gonna be like your little grandma album. You're gonna be flipping through that like, oh my gosh, look how good I did. Okay. Oh, cute. Okay, I think what I wanna do is put my starting and ending weight as well. So let's use these. And this will be like a little can make a label of whatever we want to say there. And then over here, let's celebrate. If something went really, really right, let's celebrate ourselves. Give ourselves a little pat on the back, because no one's gonna do that for us, okay? People are not gonna notice these changes right away. They might notice a change in your habits, but they're not gonna notice a change in your look for a while, probably. I'm gonna put this clock because it is time to make changes, okay? If nothing changes, nothing changes. Don't fool yourself. Okay, and I'm wondering if I want these date covers or no. I do. And thank y'all so much for watching the video. I know it was a long one, but I feel like it was just really necessary to get this information out there. I don't want to ever gatekeep something that's life-changing. 50 people might watch this video, okay? That's fine, but 50 people could be the better for it. And that aligns with my goals of wanting to help other people. That brings me joy. So if this helped you in any small way today, leave me a comment below. If you don't want to leave a comment, leave me a flower in the comment because I love flowers, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.